Distractions, ADHD, procrastination, whatever you want to call it, they're just like flies. Until you get the right tool and then implement it, they never stop buzzing around. Well, thankfully for you, I've compiled together the top 15 distractions that I face pretty much on a daily basis, and I've refined the specific solutions for them over the past decade or so you can smack those distractions away as soon as they start buzzing around. So now let's get into the distractions as well as solutions, and then I'm going to explain them based on walking through kind of a realistic day of some guy right here. I'm just going to call him Mick, okay? We're going to walk through a day with him, going through every single distraction and then how he's going to fix it. Although, one dangerous thing about the distractions, once you solve all 15, unfortunately, there is something that can very literally make him die, make Mick die. But let's not worry about that until we actually solve the distractions. So starting the day with Mick, of course, he rolls out of bed, and then the first thing he does, of course, he wants to know what time it is. So he checks his phone and he's like, oh shit, it's only 7 o'clock. So quite early. And then he's feeling a little bit tired, of course. So he goes on his phone and he opens up YouTube and he's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna, maybe take a look at some videos and I'm gonna see what's on there so I can just kind of pass the time a little bit and then wake up. But oh no, this is the first distraction, YouTube. But interestingly enough, when Mick goes on his YouTube, let me go to YouTube as well. He sees in his homepage, there's nothing there. It's a complete black screen. And he maybe thinks like, okay, maybe let's go and see some shorts. Clicks the shorts. Oh, there's nothing there. Completely black screen. So there's actually 2 solves that Mick already implemented to get rid of the distraction of watching random YouTube videos you don't actually care about. And that's 1 and 2, which is turn off your history. And then number 2 is a plugin called DF YouTube. This is of course only for a computer, but you can download this plugin on Chrome, which will essentially get rid of all the recommended on the side when you actually do watch a video so you don't get baited into watching some random stuff. And then in your actual suggested, once you turn off the history, just like Mick encountered, it's just completely black. It says like, oh yeah, you didn't turn your history. So there's nothing there, nothing that can distract you away. You might be thinking like, oh, well, sometimes I actually do want to have like history so then I can go back and watch a video that I saw and thought was good and just didn't finish. Well, what you can do there is actually just like the video so then you can come back to it, because there's a section on YouTube which has on the left hand side, I believe, I have some different plugins, but if you go to liked videos, or of course if you saved it to watch later, then you can go back and just watch it. And that is distraction number 1 solved. He didn't see anything in his YouTube, of course, because he already solved it. But then he's like, let's go check the email, because that's kind of productive. You just jump on, you have the email app open. But then, oh no, this is the next distraction. And it's not quite actually just reading the email. When he opens the email, he sees on his phone written in an email headline like, oh, I ruined my life. Please help. You know what that email's from? Reddit. But then it's so interesting. He's like, what? Ruined your life? Ruined your life? Click the email. Go to Reddit. Okay, so now he's gone to Reddit. He got distracted by Reddit. Let's see how to actually fix this. So if we examine what was the problem. So he started off with email, which in itself is fine. He might actually need to read some emails he got from whatever he was working on. But then the issue was he saw an email from Reddit and then it had like a clickbait title. So then what he needs to do is solve it at its source. And the source, since it was getting the email, he can now go to the bottom, and there's always, pretty much in any email, unless they're kind of scammy, there's an unsub button. So now he unsubs, Mick unsubs from Reddit, and now he no longer gets those emails. So when he checks his email in the morning, he doesn't get baited away, get distracted by Reddit. And now Mick is able to continue his day with that distraction gone. But then, of course, he's still sitting in bed because he wants to wake up. So he flips back to his phone home screen. And, he's looking at his phone. And unfortunately, on the homepage of his phone, there's a nice blue logo here with a big F on it. Facebook. Again, Mick is feeling a bit tired. The saturation in the colors in this logo catches his eye, begging him for a click. And you know what? He clicks it. Distraction number 3. And this always happens. It's on his home screen. It begs him for a click. He clicks it and he goes around. He looks around and he usually looks on Facebook Marketplace. He has nothing in particular to sell. He has nothing in particular to buy. But, he just kind of likes looking around at Facebook Marketplace. But then he catches himself. It's like, oh shit, I actually don't have anything to do here. What am I doing? Just distracted. But then again, going back to the source, he realizes that this logo on his homepage was what is the issue. So now he does something to fix that distraction so it doesn't get him initially, which is of course taking that and removing it from the homepage. So now if you're on an iPhone, maybe you can put it on a different page in a little folder, or if you're on Android, you can put it in like the app dock or something that you call it, so just not on the home screen. What that does is it's not immediately there for you to always see, so therefore never begs for your click, and you can never fall in that trap. But oh no, he got rid of the Facebook and it was unsatisfying. He didn't get to buy anything, he didn't get to sell anything. Unsatisfying. His brain still wants a finisher for his dopamine. So he has another app. I'm sure you've seen this one before. Instagram. He clicks on Instagram and you know what he sees? Instantly, within the first 5 seconds, he sees like 15 girls with their ass and tits out. And something bad is coming here. A distraction. Yeah. Just kidding, not yet. Because Mick right here, he's hardened by NoFap. So he closes the Instagram app and he realizes that he actually never uses Instagram. He just goes there and he likes to scroll through and see the pictures or whatever he's looking at. So he closes the app and he makes a rule that he'll never keep anything that he doesn't produce on. Anything that he only consumes on, he consumes more than he produces, instant delete. So he deletes Instagram, and of course, if you delete it, you can't use it. Not a distraction anymore. So that distraction solved. But then he's like, okay, I gotta change the pace a little bit. I'm kind of awake now. So now he goes and just like brushes his teeth and goes to the toilet, whatever he needs to do in the morning. Then he's like, okay, time to get to work. You know, I got rid of all those distractions. There's like 5 distractions already in just like the first 20 minutes of waking up, all those different apps from my phone. He sits down at his computer, and as I mentioned, something bad was coming, but it wasn't the Instagram. He stares at his computer screen blankly, you know, the lights coming into his eyes, and then flashbacks in his minds. The ass, the titties from Instagram. Now that he's on his computer, since he didn't get that dopamine, he's getting those flashbacks. He pulls up a website. He pulls up Orange YouTube. This is the next distraction, but you know what saves him? Or who saves him? Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci said a quote that was, "It is easier to resist at the beginning than at the end." So it's easier to stop something before it starts. If you roll a ball, obviously, if the ball has not moved yet, it is already stopped. Way easier to stop it than if it is already like rolling down a hill or something, especially like a boulder, right? So since he was hardened from his NoFap training, he was able to avert going on Orange YouTube, and he just doesn't go on the website in the first place. He closes down its web browser. So this distraction here is usually triggered by different images or something that triggers something pleasurable. Of course, he got rid of the dopamine, which was good, but he kept a principle in his mind of, I guess, Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci came in and it prevented him from coming, all right? Because it's a lot easier to stop before you're like mid-fap, right? Trust me, it's not easier to stop mid-fap. And of course, that is how you get rid of the distraction of Orange YouTube. But now Mick here, he's feeling a little messed up. He needs a little change of pace. He almost relapsed on his computer screen by that Orange YouTube distraction. So instead, he goes and picks up his phone again. Maybe he needs to like figure something out before he starts working. And you know what he sees on his screen? X. He goes and he taps on the X logo. But wait, although this is another distraction, he almost instantly, as soon as the app opens, realizes his lesson from the Instagram, and he gets off X and he deletes that app. So he never uses it again because he doesn't use it. Although, again, he's back on his phone at his home screen, and you know what he sees? He sees an app. I don't remember what the logo looks like. Mick goes on LinkedIn because like, okay, well, this is something actually sort of productive, you know, related to my job. And you know, maybe he wants to connect to some people, see who connected to him, like, oh, anybody send me a message, or like see what his connections posted. But wait a second, Mick realizes he doesn't have anything actual to do here. He doesn't want a job, he doesn't need to update his position or anything like that. So he genuinely has no purpose, although this seems productive. So he quickly closes the app and he implements a rule in his mind. He realized that all his connections that he actually cares about and he actually needs, he already has their phone numbers, he's in their contacts. So he implements this rule to just don't go on without a purpose. Never open LinkedIn without a purpose. And then also, just like Facebook, he removed it from his homepage and he just like puts it in the app dock. Like if you have Android, it puts it in a folder on another page if you have Apple. Then again, okay, back to the phone homepage again. And you do want to do something productive. Finally want to do something productive. You know, you're not actually getting to the work that you're going to do today, but you want to do something productive. So you open up an app called TradingView. And of course, TradingView is productive. Mick here has got like 50 stocks on his watch list, and he's got to see like how are these companies doing, you know, up or down, you know, should you buy maybe something. And 30 minutes later, he's like, oh no, this is the other distraction. You can't watch the market 24/7, he realizes. And of course, it's not reliable to be able to just happen to look at the market at the right time and you're like, oh yeah, I caught it at the right price. So instead, what he does on the app itself, he goes and just implements a bunch of alerts. So then it's basically, he has the system look for him all the time, therefore it's not a distraction in his mind about any stocks. So he closes it and he no longer wastes his time just staring at charts anymore. So TradingView done. But then finance related, he actually does go on Fidelity or any other app like Robinhood or whatever, and he goes on, he checks his account. Although he does learn his lesson from TradingView. He doesn't need to check how much money he has. He instead, similar to TradingView and setting alerts, maybe you might set some alerts on here, but he just places the orders that he needs to, puts in whatever limit orders he needs to, and then he forgets about it. He doesn't let like, oh, you know, do I need a trade? Do I need a trade? No, he knows what he needs to do. He does it, and that's it. So he can return back to his work, no distraction. So great. Inverted, I don't know how many distractions, so many. It's only been a couple of hours for Mick. But wait, Mick remembers on the finance topic, he actually has to pay some bills. So he goes back to his computer finally now after clearing distractions from his phones yet again, and he takes a look at his credit card bills, or he goes on his like checking account to check the different transfers. He sees like, oh, okay, great. I actually a couple of days ago, I already set up my payments for all the different bills that I have, all the different subscriptions. But then he realizes, oh no, this is the other distraction. distraction. He already set those bill pays a couple of days ago, which means he's been constantly checking because he keeps forgetting like, oh, did I pay? Did I pay? Did I pay? So what he does instead to make sure this distraction doesn't happen again, he either does one of two things. One, auto pay. I personally don't use auto pay, but if you like to use auto pay, it's very simple. You set up to your checking account and it just pays automatically. You don't have to think about it, so you don't have to check it, as long as you just have enough money in your account, of course. The second thing that you could possibly do, which this is what I do myself, is I just change my billing cycles for all my bills, so my subscriptions, everything, to one day. So then all my credit cards bills come out at the same time, and then I can go into my checking account and open the bill pay and then set all the payments to go on that same day. After the payment day, I can just go in and check in once per month to make sure all my payments are clear. And of course, you pay a little bit before the deadline, and then you check after the payments are supposed to be sent, and then it limits your distraction of bills to just one time, which is of course the most effective. Or with auto pay, basically no time. You just have to make sure you have enough money. So he cleared this distraction of bills. Although so many distractions in, Mick decides he needs a change of pace. He goes outside, for a little walk, goes and takes out the trash. Gets a nice brush of fresh air, but some random friend walked by his house. And this random friend asks him, like, oh, do you want to go out for to do something with me? And then Mick thinks for a second. If he goes, he might have a little fun, he goes out with his friend, but then he thinks for a second. If he says no, then of course he's going to return to his work. But which one is actually going to contribute to his goal? And Mick's smart here. He's been working on self-improvement for a while. Once he asks himself the question of which contributes to my goal, he instantly decides. He says no. He says no to his friend, and he's like, okay, time to go back to work. So saying no in this situation is the right way to do. And sometimes, yeah, I think it is good to go with your friends. You don't want to just always say no to everybody. Just simply make sure that person in some way can contribute to your life. If this person doesn't align with your goals, it's probably not a good person to spend too much time with. But either way, Mick has averted that distraction of the random friend walking by. So he back inside in his house, and now he really want to get to work because it's like half the day over, and the only thing he has faced is clearing up distraction. So he thinks, I gotta get hyped up. So he puts on his headphones and he starts listening to music, and then he starts out to write his business plan on his computer. But the issue is, an hour goes by and he barely has anything written. His plan's no good. He feels like he's not getting any thoughts out, and he realizes, oh no, this is another distraction. This distraction he's facing right here is actually the music. Since this particular type of work requires deep thought, he's writing, so he has to think words in his mind, the music actually starts to drown out his deep thoughts, and now he remembers. Next time when he's doing deep work, he doesn't listen to any music, so his thoughts don't get drowned out, and he can really focus. Although, doing something really, really mundane, super easy, like reformatting a whole bunch of text that's already written, that's of course fine to listen to music, if you really want to. But that distraction cleared. So now he stopped to listen to music, and okay, he started writing good progress on his business plan. But then unfortunately, while he's sitting there on his computer looking at the screen, something not that good happens. Right here, he's getting some tummy rumbles. He's getting a little bit hungry. So what he does instead, he has a desk nearby, of course. And on his desk right here, there's beef beef jerky. He reaches his hand over and grabs some beef jerky, eats it, and maybe his tummy rumble go away. But here's the thing, now his hands are dirty, so he gets up and he washes his hands. He sits back down, he's like, oh, that beef jerky was pretty good, maybe 20 minutes later. So he just grabs another one, he puts it in his mouth, he eats it again, he's like, oh shit, my hand's dirty. Go and washes his hands again, and he realizes, oh no, this right here is another distraction. By having that food where he can see it, he's remembering that good taste. Good. And he keeps wanting to go back, and he has to get up every time, wasting time. So he takes his beef jerky, and he just moves it somewhere where he can't see it, down to another floor, down to another room. Only the thing there to take his mind away is the computer screen itself. So finally, yet again, removing the beef jerky, he's back to work looking at his computer screen. But then, unfortunately, on his desk, he has his phone, and it starts buzzing. Some random ass text, maybe a game notification, another email, a stock trade went off, an alert went off, but he's still trying to focus. He keeps trying to focus. But eventually, buzz after buzz, he gets distracted away, and oh shit, his eyes go over his phone, and he picks it up. But frustrated with all the distraction, now Mick, he just goes on his phone, and he goes and he clicks this button that looks like this. This is the do not distract button. He turns it on, and he no longer gets any vibrations, no longer gets any alerts, completely off. And then he goes into his settings, and there's a couple of people that are very important, like his brother, his family members that he wants to get a call from if they want to contact him. So he makes it so that they're able to get through do not disturb. Other than that, no notifications, nothing from email, nothing from games, doesn't need to see any trade alerts, maybe a couple of them, but he sets those specifically. And you know what? He goes through a couple of days of working, couple of weeks of working, and surprisingly enough, after doing this, you'll actually actually start to realize that 99% of the time, those random ass alerts and whatever, you don't need to respond to them instantaneously. And of course, the ones that you do need to, you already set it in the settings. And then what's actually very interesting here is when you stop work naturally, so you get to a natural stopping point where it's good, you finish maybe a little milestone in your work, then you check your phone, and usually it's perfectly fine to reply then, and much more natural for productivity. He clears all the distractions. And you know what? This dude Mick right here, dude's hard now. Dude's hard. The only thing he does is work. He's like a goddamn monk. He can work for like 18 hours straight, no problem. But remember the danger that I said could literally very well kill Mick here. The danger is deep vein thrombosis. So of course, he can stay focused now without any of these distractions for hours and hours. But by constantly sitting down in one position and not getting the blood flowing, he can get a blood clot, which then could go to his heart and, well, he's fucked. Or go to his brain and, oh shit. So in order to fix this, he thinks like, do I need more distractions? Do I actually need distractions to stay alive so I get up and move? Well, no. What he decides to do, very interesting and a very innovative thing to do. He gets what you call a cup, and he fills it with water, and if it's a very big cup that he can just always guzzle tons of water. I very literally have a big ass cup right here. You can see it's like the size of my head. And what you do is you constantly drink this water, and then you're forced to get up because you need to take a piss. And of course, you don't need to take a piss instantly. You can hold it in a little bit, and that allows you to not get distracted at weird times, so you can actually finish kind of what you're doing, finish your thought before you actually get up and take a piss. But it forces you to get up so you don't like straight up kill yourself from sitting for hours and hours and hours. And of course, staying hydrated is always good. And then by getting up, you get the blood flowing actually to your brain, so you think better, and you can always make sure you keep drinking even though you're focused, by just like that beef jerky, except a sort of different fashion, is by keeping the water on your desks. You always look at it, you always see it, so you just drink. But sometimes, even if you've worked for hours, super dedicated, super focused, that dedication, that hard work doesn't pay off. And that's because sometimes working hard isn't the only thing that actually creates success. And literally, I will show you with bananas how to make your hard work count. So you can watch this video here about how to actually work hard and then get results from it, how to implement the principles of successfully working hard.